Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Helen Mirren fans cringe at her absolutely awful Irish accent in Yellowstone spinoff. Helen Mirren has divided fans with her attempt at an Irish accent in the popular Yellowstone spinoff, 1923. The Hollywood actress stars as Cara Dutton in the Paramount Plus show, with her character living in Ireland before traveling to Montana and settling down on the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. While Cara comes from Ireland, some viewers have criticized Helen for not being able to quite pull off the accent. Yellowstone fans have flocked to Reddit to share their thoughts in a post titled, "1923 is amazing but Helen Mirren. Oh dear." One Yellowstone fan wrote, "As a proud Irish man, her attempt at an Irish accent makes me absolutely cringe. It sounds more Jamaican than Irish." Arie de Imoori. Pierce Brosnan thinks his co-star should be the next James Bond. Arie de Imoori. Little-known Liam Neeson action film, even more intense than Taken. Many people agreed, with one person admitting, "I completely get it." As an American Southerner, listening to Andrew Lincoln, Walking Dead, attempt a Southern accent made me want to kick grass. Another fan echoed, "Another Irishman here, completely agree. We said we'd probably give up on the show if it wasn't a Sheridan show / part of the Yellowstone universe. And that none, sometimes it sounds like she goes through a few different accents in one sentence. Very off-putting. Sad because she normally is an amazing actress." A fourth person fumed. Someone else added, "I was trying to put my finger on why I just haven't felt compelled to watch 1923, and you've got a point I hadn't even considered. The accents really are absolutely awful." For all the latest news straight to your inbox, sign up for our free newsletters here. However, not every 1923 viewer was annoyed by Helen's Irish accent. One person suggested, maybe Irish accents were different in 1923 than recently? Another commenter pointed out, "Funny you mention that because the Jamaican accent is derived from the Irish when Irish indentured servants and African slaves lived amongst one another, and the Irish would teach English to the slaves." One viewer was divided as they said, "I'm typically amazed at how English actors are able to play American roles without even the slightest hint of an accent. You'd think they'd nail Irish too given the proximity and Northern Ireland being part of the UK. So it's surprising if an actress of her quality isn't delivering on that." They continued, "That said, she is playing an Irish settler who has probably been in America for a few decades, and attempting to mimic the speech patterns and dialogue that was common 100 years ago. So I wouldn't expect her to sound like someone from Dublin in 2023. When the Yellowstone universe expanded with its much-anticipated spin-off 1923, anticipation soared, bringing together Harrison Ford and the iconic Helen Mirren in a sweeping saga of grit, resilience, and legacy. The series promised drama, beauty, and unforgettable performances. But amidst the dust and drama of frontier life, a surprising issue has left fans buzzing for all the wrong reasons: Helen Mirren's Irish accent. At 78, Dame Helen Mirren remains one of the most revered actresses in the industry, known for her razor-sharp portrayals and magnetic presence. So when she took on the role of Cara Dutton, the matriarch of the Dutton family, fans expected a masterclass in performance. And while many would agree she delivered emotionally and physically, one detail has overshadowed it all: her attempt at an Irish brogue. Is she supposed to be Irish? That's the question that flooded social media as soon as Mirren's character first opened her mouth. The accent, designed to hint at Cara's Irish immigrant background, struck many as inconsistent, muddled, and, at times, entirely indiscernible. One Reddit user bluntly posted, "I adore Helen Mirren, but what is that accent? It drifts from Irish to Scottish to American all in one sentence." Another X, formerly Twitter, user joked, "Cara Dutton's accent in 1923 is like a GPS signal in the mountains, frequently lost, and often recalculating. Fans of the Yellowstone universe, who've embraced everything from Beth Dutton's sharp tongue to Rip's silent strength, weren't prepared to be pulled out of the immersive world by a linguistic stumble. For some, the issue became so distracting it affected their ability to fully embrace the character. A master of many roles, but not every accent. Mirren's storied career spans Shakespearean dramas, Oscar-winning biopics, and even action-packed blockbusters. Her portrayal of Queen Elizabeth II in The Queen earned her the Academy Award, and she's convincingly slipped into dozens of dialects. However, Irish, at least in the case of 1923, seems to have become her Fiona Sullivan, who has worked with actors preparing for period dramas, weighed in during an interview with TV Insider. "The Irish accent is notoriously tricky," she said. "It's not just about the sound, it's the rhythm, the tone, the musicality. And when you're working on a character who's lived in America for decades, you also need to thread in subtle changes." But unfortunately, Helen's accent just doesn't settle, it feels unanchored. Even harsher critics online weren't so diplomatic, calling the accent absolutely awful and painful to listen to. One fan even admitted they had to turn on subtitles to make sense of what was being said, because the combination of Montana lingo and a warped brogue made comprehension a challenge. Creators defend the creative choice. Despite the backlash, the show's creative team has defended the decision. Taylor Sheridan, the architect of the Yellowstone franchise, said in a behind-the-scenes interview that Kara's accent was meant to reflect a hybrid, someone who had been in America for decades but still carried the vocal remnants of her Irish roots. "Helen and I discussed it at length," Sheridan revealed. "Cara Dutton isn't fresh off the boat. She's lived on this land, worked it, bled for it. But her history is still in her voice. We didn't want a leprechaun caricature, we wanted depth." And Mirren herself stood by her approach. "I didn't want to go full Irish," she explained in a recent appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. "Cara would have softened over time. Her accent wouldn't be something out of Dublin today. It'd be something filtered through hardship and time and love." Divide among fans. Despite the creator's vision and Mirren's intent, the debate rages on. Some viewers have argued that criticizing an accent takes away from the character's emotional depth. "She's acting her heart out," one fan posted on Facebook. "I can overlook a wobbly brogue if the performance hits me in the chest, and Helen always does that." Others weren't so forgiving. "It's just jarring," one critic wrote in a review. "Every time she speaks, I'm reminded that this is a show. It breaks the illusion, and in a show that's so immersive, that's a real shame." A few fans even wondered why Mirren didn't use her natural voice, since many immigrants to the U.S. in the early 20th century eventually shed their native accents. "There was no real need for it," said another viewer. "It feels like an unnecessary addition, and unfortunately, not a successful one." What's next for Cara Dutton? Accent aside, Mirren's performance as Cara Dutton has been praised as powerful, raw, and deeply moving. Whether she's comforting her war-traumatized nephew Spencer or staring down danger with a shotgun in hand, there's no denying that Mirren commands the screen. As 1923 continues to unfold, viewers are hopeful that the accent either fades into the background or becomes less noticeable as the narrative ramps up. But for now, it remains a topic of conversation in nearly every fan forum. In the end, perhaps Helen Mirren's portrayal of Cara Dutton will be remembered not for her brogue, but for her bravery, her fire, and her fierce devotion to the land and family she's come to call home. Still, it's hard to ignore that even the greats can stumble when walking the linguistic tightrope of dialect. And in 1923, that stumble was loud enough to echo across the plains.